Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of the Cricket Exchange. So, today we are primarily going to be talking about the South African women cricket team's tour of India for a white ball series. Right? They have so far played 5 ODIs against the Indian women's cricket team. They are going to be playing 3 T20s as well, right? All the matches are being played in Lucknow, the capital of Uttar Pradesh, the very land of Tehzeeb, of Nawabs, of Kebabs. Back to cricket, right? So South African women have comprehensively beaten the Indian women's team 4-1 in this ODI series, right? Or should I say that the Indian team has lost 1-4. All the matches were won by the team chasing. And surprisingly, each time, or should I say unsurprisingly, each time the team that won the toss decided to field first. Now, this is quite a trend developing, isn't it, statistics wise? Even at the PSL, the teams chasing won the vast majority of the matches. Also, in the currently ongoing, T20 international series between India and England, all the 3 matches that have happened so far have been won by the team chasing. So it has all been win toss, decide to chase, win the match. What's going on, Abhishek?
Yeah, I wish it was that simple, but unfortunately for the Indian team, it wasn't. Okay, so probably these were not really the bat versus bat sort of matches where one team scores 300 and the other team just scores it on a flat pitch. But one has to say that the result has been really disappointing for most Indian fans, and at home losing 4-1 to South Africa, that's not the best result we could have hoped for, but it's not too bad, because one of the reasons is that the positive, one of the silver lining is that at least we had this series after 1 year. Remember, the Indian women's team, they reached the final of the World T20 last year, and they played after 1 year, exactly 1 year they played any international cricket. And with it, only the IPL Challenge series was the only competitive cricket they've played in this period. So that sort of a leeway can be provided to the women's team, that so sort of we can excuse them sort of, but still the shortcomings cannot be ignored. And as you said about the toss, probably for the first 2 matches, the toss had an impact. Okay, if you just analyze the series match by match, the first 2 matches was just a mirror image of each other. With each team, whoever chased, and the team which batted first got bowled out comprehensively, and the chase was very easy. So those 2 matches, probably the toss had an impact, mainly because it's North India, and it was still the end of winter. So you know how the conditions can be at 9 o'clock in the morning. It can be a bit nippy, and Jhulan Goswami was unplayable in one of the games, the second game. And in the first game, we struggled against their pacers for the swing. And in women's cricket, the ball wobbles around a bit more because of the pace is slightly less. So that's why. So it can happen. So that's the reason why the first 2 matches went exactly the same way. Sort of a mirror image of each other. And that was probably because of the toss. Probably the teams were not prepared to dig it out and play some ugly cricket in the first 20 overs to settle in. So that's why probably they got bowled out and for a cheap score. But from the third ODI onwards, it was third and fourth ODIs. They were standard normal ODIs. Okay. Bat first, India got 250 in both the games, 248 in one game, 266 in one game. And that's where the big problem was. Like, our bowling and overall presence in the field was not up to the mark. Of course, because of rustiness. Secondly, because of selection woes. One of the controversial selection calls was leaving out Shikha Pandey from the squad. So that was, I think, with disastrous consequences, because what it was explained was that we were resting Shikha and trying out new players. They tried out Monica Patel, a left arm medium bowler. So the attempt was good, but unfortunately it didn't give any results. And to completely drop or rest Shikha was a mistake probably, because she's also hasn't had much of cricket, and if we are going to win in New Zealand, she has to play a good part in that. Okay, so we need to give as much game time to the people who are going to to the players who are going to play in New Zealand in a year's time from now. So that's something which was probably a blunder in an attempt to unearth some players, but unfortunately it fell flat. So coming back to the games, I mean, especially the few brights for the only game we won, that was because of some brilliant spell of bowling by Julian Goswami in the morning, and we all saw Smriti Mandhana's batting in the afternoon. I mean, I was just wondering, that's one of the brightest spots for India in apart from Mithali Raj and Julian Goswami, of course, but Smriti Mandhana, I wanted to talk to you about it. Maybe you can explain that. How good as a timer is she in that second game? I mean, for a women's game, the ball comes, the deliveries are bowled at a much lower pace, around 60% pace that we see in a men's game, and still she just punches it for six. How good is that, and how
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how
Yeah,
lovely
so
it is to watch.
Smriti Mandhana is uh, she's phenomenal, right? So as you are well aware, I'm a huge Smriti Mandhana fan. Um, so the ease with which she's able to tackle the delivery, irrespective of of where it is, right? And the fact that obviously, like like all great, batters, she also seems to have that extra bit of time. Irrespective of how quick the bowling seems to be, she never seems to be hurried, right?
Yeah.
So, irrespective of the fact that in matches 3, 4, and 5, like you said, the team was trying to possibly unearth new talent. लेकिन अनर्थ का अनर्थ हो गया. लेकिन in match number 2, Smriti Mandhana really showed what she's about. And I have now started also to believe in the fact that she's so head and shoulders above the others that all opposition teams who are going to be playing against India will definitely come in with a plan against her. Right, right. Typically, how they used to do it against Sachin in the 90s, right? Remember that time when they used to say, Sachin out ho gaya,
Of
match
course.
khatam ho gaya. It is, as a fan, I sort of get that feeling with the Indian women's team. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from any of the other players, and I'm also not saying that I'm comparing Smriti Madhana to the likes of Sachin Tendulkar, but it just gives me that feeling that she's just so head and shoulders above everybody else that she's going to become a target, and she needs to continuously keep on lifting her game. It is not just about being better, but also about staying ahead of the opposition bowlers. I think until such time that she keeps on playing, she will always remain the best batter between
Yeah,
both of the teams competing on that day.
yeah, absolutely. If you see that was the only match of the series in which she got runs. So
Yeah,
every time India batted first on a fresh wicket in the morning, she has not been able to deliver. She has got out to cheap scores. So that's something which she desperately needs to work on. Probably she needs to cut down her shots initially in the initial part of the innings.
yeah. So
Yeah,
so
and
yeah. So other than Smriti Mandhana's obvious talent that we have looked forward to, what are the other positives that you can see from the series for
see,
India?
see, one of the main things is, one of the main things is, of course, Mithali Raj and Julan Goswami, they're the veterans. Their performance, they are getting better with age. And what can I say? Today, if you see Mithali Raj's innings, she was 79 not out of a score of 188. Okay, so that's phenomenal, and at a strike rate of not too bad, 100. There are needless criticism for Mithali's strike rate. I don't know why, because people you need to understand that if you lose wickets, you cannot afford to. If you go hammer and tongs, you've always got a chance to get bowled out without playing your quota of 50 overs. And India doesn't have that lower order to to carry on if any of the top order if the top order batsmen they falter. So you have to consider that before anybody criticizes Mithali's strike rate. And Julan Goswami, she's 37 years old. She's phenomenal, and she's still going strong. The most important positive, I would say, was Poonam Raut's comeback. I think she scored 100 in one of the innings, and she's got a couple of more 50s. So she somehow lost her way after that great 2017 World Cup. If you remember, she top scored in the final at Lord's with 86, and we were very much winning the game till the time she was at the crease. So one of the best things to have happened was her comeback. So that's one thing. So we've got which lends more solidity to the batting order. That's one thing which was good, apart from Mithali and Julan's form. But otherwise, yes, I don't. Otherwise, the main positivity, I would say that yes, we played and we know our flaws now. So South Africa, what they did was they exposed our flaws. So it's clear now that you cannot win with spin. Maybe T20 on a slow pitch, you can escape with spin. Okay, bowling spin for 15 of the 20 overs, just choke the opposition with spin. They'll go to hit and they'll get caught out in the deep. So that's not going to work out in a ODI match, because the asking rate is going to be low. So the opposition can milk the spinners and straight away not give their wickets away and still score at a decent rate.
I think it was also down to the conditions, wasn't it? That the spinners in this entire 5-match series weren't quite that successful. It was also down
absolutely
the conditions in Lucknow, right? So what about HP Harmanpreet, our captain?
Our T20 captain. So
yeah, T20 captain. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so Harman was brilliant. Okay, throughout the series, she had a couple of good innings. She was batting with good strike rate. She was striking the ball well. That was a positive side, definitely. And in a couple of matches, she really played. Today, she was really going well. Okay, today we were going at 126 for 3, and Mithali and Harmanpreet were building up a partnership. Harman was batting on 33, and she had to retire hurt. So she had a hip injury, it seems, and probably it was so bad that she couldn't come out to bat even after the end of the innings.
I think that might have had a big bearing on the last match, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely, very much. And another thing Harmanpreet has been working on is her bowling. So her bowling has been a revelation in this particular series, and that has been told by the coaches and her teammates as well. So her bowling has been very consistent. But again, she's she's a sort of a batting all-rounder who can bowl spin. So we've got a good spin attack. There's no doubt about it. But we need to focus on if we are to win a World Cup in New Zealand, if we are to reach the semi-finals, finals.
Yeah, that's exactly what
at least 25 overs of pace.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was going to come to. That certainly with the next World Cup being next year in New Zealand, as you're aware, our reliance on spin, if you like, over reliance on spin, would anyway have been our downfall there again because of the conditions.
Yes.
So from this point on, how do we pick ourselves up? Obviously, as you said, that they were trying to unearth possibly new, quicker bowlers as well. How do we go about it now?
Yeah, that process has to continue. Like, we've got Mansi Joshi. She played in the World Cup, the 2017 World Cup, of course, but she didn't have a very good series this time around. Whatever be the reason, I'm not too sure. But of course, Shikha Pandey has to come back. So there's a ready-made proven performer available there. So if you have Julan and Shikha, that's 20 overs down. So we have to somehow get Mansi Joshi back into form, and the left arm Monica Patel. She seemed to be good. She had a very clean action. Okay, Chaminda Vas type action. Okay, so if we groom her, and if maybe Chaminda Vas type action exactly, and if probably we can groom her and groom her well and give her match time. So one of the main problems is we can't give enough match time before the World Cup, because we lost a year, and if we can give Monica enough match time, then she can be possibly. And one of the things what she was doing was, because she was bowling over the wicket, left arm over the wicket, so those footmarks she was creating for the off spinners to exploit, Harmanpreet and Deepti Sharma to exploit. And so those are the things that could come into the picture. But of course, get Julan and Chika back into a combination, and that should be the way forward. And we've got a test in England this year, I guess, so that's going to be a good place to groom and see how good is your pace attack. Because of course,
Absolutely.
if you have a test match in England, Julan and Chika has to be the opening bowlers. And another weakness, another point of concern here was where we are behind, and where the men's T20 team has also been criticized for, is the power hitting. Okay, like we are still into that 250, 260 zone, and we don't have that last bit of impetus to hit those long boundaries. So, of course, one of the mistakes in the first two matches was Jemima Rodriguez is not having the greatest of times. So she failed in the first few matches, and after that she was dropped, and that's how that's then Priya Punia came in. She's a promising player. Okay, so she should be there in the 11. I feel she adds more solidity. But one person I would like to see in the ODI team is Shefali Verma. Remember Shefali Verma from last year's T20 World Cup? So she's a dasher. So I think we have to take that gamble with Shefali Verma. So at
What
one
about
end, if
Veda Krishnamurti?
oh, Veda Krishnamurti, if she was there, she would have been our go-to person for at number 6, because she's a big hitter. But unfortunately, her performances have not been up to the mark. I mean, I don't remember a single good innings. Single big innings she's played ever since that 2017 World Cup final. So
But
if
she also is an impact player at that position
yeah, very much,
who
absolutely,
can be
absolutely.
groomed, right?
Like there's nothing like if Veda Krishnamurti strikes form and gives you 30-40 every game, then a lot of your problems are solved. But unfortunately, she's not getting that. So again, we can take a chance on her if she gets sufficient match time. If we have a bigger IPL challenge this time, so that's what a tournament like IPL does. If we had this IPL sort of a style tournament for women, then these people would have got more match time, and uh, uh, probably we would have known more players, and uh, given these players much more confidence to go out there and basically attack the bowling.
Well, the
So
fact
of
that
course,
our team, the women's team, did so well in the World Cup last time in England should be, sh-
yeah.
well, that should certainly be, uh, it can certainly be used as a template, can it not, for playing even in New Zealand, right? The conditions
Absolutely,
are quite
yes,
similar.
yes.
Of course, the World Cup will be played with the Kookaburra, like the last World Cup was also played with the Kookaburra ICC tournament and all that.
Mm,
But but the test match against England,
that's going to
the
be in
women's test
Dukes.
match, will be in Duke. So we just have to be very careful of not getting into a lot of recency bias,
Yeah,
yet being able to pick on form. So
yes.
it is not going to be a very straightforward route, if you like, towards the World Cup. There are
Uh,
some really strong teams out there, and
Yeah, very much.
I think it's just going to be a very very
See,
interesting thing for us fans as well.
I would say, like last time, initially, whenever we talk about women's cricket, we always used to fear New Zealand, Australia, England. They were the big three. So somehow when we have thought about that, we've conquered New Zealand. Okay, we've somehow touched them. We've seen South Africa coming up. Okay, South Africa is a big team. Okay, even in the last World Cup in 2017, which was our best year, they beat us in the league phase. Those are to South Africa and Australia. Those two matches we lost in the league phase. So they've come up really well. And one of the advantages South Africa had coming into this series was they had played one series against Pakistan, a full-fledged ODI and T20 series. So those things probably had a impact. Like Lizelle Lee, she played an unbelievable innings in the fourth ODI where she scored 100 and just decimated us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
So
she's an
so
absolute find.
the fact that the Indian team was rusty has contributed to a very large extent to this result of 1-4. Now, obviously, going forward,
Of course, there were other reasons of there are other reasons which we cannot really ignore. Nazarandaz nahi kar sakte ekdam. But probably the rustiness was one of the reasons, definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. So now swiftly moving on, if you like, just before we end, if you want to quickly touch upon the men's T20 matches that
Yes.
have been going on. We've already played three matches so far. All three T20 matches only have been
Yeah.
played at Ahmedabad at the Narendra Modi Stadium. All the three matches again were won by the teams chasing. All three times the teams that won the toss decided to chase and ended up winning the match. Again, cricket conditions ka khel hai, and not just conditions, but also apparently, like we had predicted in our earliest, TCX episodes, TCX being the cricket exchange, of course, that at Ahmedabad, batting isn't going to be very easy. Okay, all bowlers are going to be, all seamers are going to be able to bowl a heavy ball. We have seen Shardul bowl at speeds over 140. We have seen Mark Wood bowl at
Mark
speeds
Wood has been
over
phenomenal.
155. He, if you like, has been clear difference between the two teams. We haven't had anybody to bowl that fast. The way he got Shikhar Dhawan in the first match, the way he got KL Rahul in the last match, they were so similar.
Absolutely.
They were like
Beaten for pace.
straight deliveries on middle stump. The batsman was just hurried for pace, beaten for pace, stump goes cartwheeling. That was
Cartwheeling.
just cartwheeling again. Brilliant to watch, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And one of the things is in both the matches, if you see, uh, 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 of course, all the three matches was decided by chasing, but it can't be more different. The two of India's matches which India lost and the one which England lost, they were totally followed. I mean, uh, separate different scripts. I think India struggled is both the times India collapsed at the top, and that's where they were confused as to how do I play, because I don't have a target in mind. So
Well,
that's the
also,
that
sorry, I was just going to say also, the combination that the Indian team has gone in with has also been questionable, right? Now
and
we
that's
keep we keep talking about this, but I mean,
yeah,
so if you remember some of our earlier conversations wherein we had said that the core group of cricketers in the squad currently, they are all fantastic, right? You could pick any 11 and they can play as long as the combination is
combination,
balanced, right?
right?
Just when we thought that the team management, you know, couldn't screw up, for want of a better word, the playing 11, that is precisely what they do.
Yeah, see, I think one of the main things, I mean, of the many things, I mean, because it's a T20 game, there are many variables and there'll be a lot of things coming up. One of the things which me and many of my friends also think is the lack of a sixth bowling option. That is something which is unacceptable. I think yesterday there was no sixth bowling option. You cannot have that in a T20 game because any of your bowlers can have a bad day. Okay. And since we have the luxury of so many all-rounders, we've got Hardik, we've got Shardul, we've got Washington Sundar, we've got even Ashwin, I guess, is in the squad. We've got whole bunch of genuine all-rounders. They are not, I mean, they can contribute with bat and ball. So in this sort of a circumstances, not having a sixth bowling option, that is really that's really unacceptable because
Well, I can
uh,
see two reasons. I can see two reasons, right? One of them is obviously that we are missing Jasprit Bumrah, obviously, right? The second reason being, I think, is somehow the resistance to playing Saini. Now, Saini, along with Bumrah, right, and also Bhuvneshwar, of course, were the best Indian seamers in the IPL, which just finished, right?
so
So Saini's form and also his little injury in Australia. I don't know how he's faring
no,
now,
if
but in terms of a choice, given a choice, would I rather have Shardul Thakur batting at number 9, or I would rather have Saini who doesn't necessarily have to bat at 9. He could bat at 11, but still a much
Yeah.
better bowler.
So definitely, like if you there's not having confidence is not really a point, not really an excuse, not really a reason to not pick up bowler. Then if you have taken Navdeep Saini as a quick bowler, and a T20 team, any T20 team will have to have a quick bowler. So if you have taken him in the squad, that means he's good enough to play. Simple. I mean, you don't get into an Indian squad just like that if you are not good enough to play.
But see, the
Okay, this is
decision to
the
bring a
Indian
player
squad. I
in.
mean, we all spoke about how strong Indian team is.
See,
So
the decision to get a player into the squad is made by the selectors. Once a squad, whether small or large, has been given to the team management, the selectors are out of the picture. It is a different set of people who now make a decision about how each player is looking, probably how they are playing in the nets, right? What sort of form and confidence, if you like, they can inspire in the team management. Now, see, I keep saying management. What I really mean is the captain, the vice captain, the coach. Well,
yeah,
the entire coaching staff, basically, right?
no, if you see yesterday's game, we were a one specialist batsman too many. Like
Sorry,
if you had
yesterday's
Rohit,
match
Virat,
being the third T20 match between
third, the
India and England.
third T20, yes,
Yeah,
the third
okay.
T20. Sorry about that. I should have said that. Third T20 match between India and England, which we lost by 8 wickets. We were a batsman too many because you had Rohit, you had Rahul, Virat, Ishan, and Shreyas. That's five specialist batsmen without any bowling option, and Rishabh Pant, of course. So six. There's your six people totally locked in who don't know how to bowl. Okay, so that's something, and not only that, all your bowlers are good enough batsmen. You've got Bhuvi, you've got uh,
Sundar,
Washington Sundar,
Shardul,
you've got Shardul Thakur, three guys who can give you
Hardik,
runs.
Hardik.
Hardik Pandya, sorry, he's a
4 out of 5
fantastic,
are also very good
probably
batsmen.
our best bowler. So what were you doing with a playing nine, batting up to nine? That's
Exactly. That
so
was my
his
point. It is to do with.
reluctance to just this is the reluctance to drop the starry batsman and sort of not to upset anyone of the batting team, the batting side, whereby you shouldn't make sure that the guy doesn't lose his confidence and
See,
all
that
those
is how
things.
it appears to us fans, right? There may be other reasons, and I really hope that the combinations improve, right? For example, KL Rahul has been woefully out of form. Now he is one of my favorite batsmen, right? However, given how KL Rahul's career has gone so far, right? Having followed him for years and years and years now, every time he gets into a rut, right? He loses form, it just seems to go on forever. It takes him a
A lot
really
of
long
frequent.
time to try and get out of it. Now that is
Yeah,
clearly a place which I think now is up for grabs. I think there is clearly a case in the fourth and the fifth matches to let Ishan Kishan open with Rohit again, get Surya
absolutely.
Kumar Yadav back in, maybe batting at number 5, right? Um, so that is definitely one of the changes. Another change is, I would say, obviously, is bring in Navdeep Saini
Yep.
instead of Shardul Thakur,
Shreyas. No,
and
not really.
possibly
Then your
instead of Shardul
the
Thakur,
bowler
instead of
six
Shardul
six
Thakur.
six bowling option doesn't come
No, no,
in.
hang on. So bring in Saini instead of Shardul Thakur, okay, and quite possibly, bring in Akshar Patel instead of Shreyas Iyer as your sixth
Absolutely.
bowling option. I think that gives
Yes.
us a lot better,
Yes,
a
absolutely.
lot better balance.
That's precisely the case. So one of say Virat, Rohit, Rahul, Shreyas, one of these four have to go. So it's not
At
not
least,
not
at least one, if not two.
not insulting anyone here, not spoiling the confidence. They're
Absolutely.
fantastic cricketers, no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
But for the sake of team combination, a lot of people have to get dropped. I mean, you can't help it. I mean, when people were asking for KL Rahul to be dropped, I mean, there were a lot of hue and cry. Oh, he's a fantastic player. He will be definitely in your scheme of things. We all know that. We love him. He's a fantastic cricketer. He should be there. But as a sportsman, to maintain the team combination, how else do you fit in? How do you fit in? How do you get your right combination? That's
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I have to
There are
drop.
only
Then
there are there are
there
only
might
that
be
many
there might
spots.
then I might have to choose between Ishan Kishan and Rishabh Pant. I can field only one of them. I might get into a situation which I absolutely don't agree with, because I think the kind of form which Rishabh Pant is in, and if he hadn't got run out in the third game, I mean, probably that cost us 20 more runs.
Oh, by the way,
So
another interesting thing about Rishabh Pant in these three matches is that the first two matches, both times his dismissal was uh, was brought on by the flick shot. Trying to flick it off his front foot, right? So in the third
yeah,
match, he was I now I don't know whether this was really happening or not, but I could really feel him not trying to flick freely and rather trying to flick it
okay,
down until until the
okay,
point until the point when he got out, and that was again, I thought it
that
was
was an
just,
anticlimax. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, again, that run out was, I think that run out was sort of a game changer for us.
probably, yeah, of course. That cost us 20 runs at least, I would say, because he was batting well. He was batting at 25 of 20, if I remember
Yes,
rightly.
yes,
So I
yes,
think,
yes.
but
And he
of
was
course, those
he was
things
beginning
happen.
to, just about beginning to go big.
Yeah, those things happen, as we all know. But the main problem was here, as we already spoke about, was in the combination. So not
Was in the
having that
combination.
sixth bowling option.
I fully agree. I fully agree.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
so thank you very much, everyone, and
yeah,
we shall see you again very soon.
yeah.
Uh,
Probably at
please
the end of
like,
the series.
yes, yes, I would hope so. And please don't forget to like our video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done, and please let us know what you think about this video and our other videos and our channel in the comments. Please feel free. Please let loose. See you soon.